Welcome to the 33rd year of Tony McGee's Pro Football Plus. 33 years. We weren't on Wednesday night, and a lot of you probably wondering why, but our director was caught up in Puerto Rico. When you talk Puerto Rico, you talk hurricanes. A lot of people was hurt by that. And the most important thing now is not the show wasn't on, that we all help. We want you to help, but everybody was hurt by those hurricanes. Also, our thoughts and prayers go out to them. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit about a team that's hurting a little bit. We'll be back in a moment.
Coney Island has been around for a long, long time. Reminds me of how Geico has been saving people money for over 75 years.
First date? Hey, big guy, come on in. Let me guess your weight. Win a prize.
Sure, why not?
12 ounces?
Sorry, mate, 4 ounces. I've been taking the stairs lately.
You win, big guy.
Sorry. Excuse me.
Wow, he looks so much more real on TV.
Yeah. Over 75 years of savings and service. Get your rate quote today.
Welcome back to the show, and as you know, each and every year I have my crew with me. Now, I don't know if that crew means good or bad. Already, I'm starting to question a little bit. But I got Mike Baker, who's been with me the whole time. Now, if you want to know what Gary Clark is, he's out at the Playboys convention, and he's the main attraction. Therefore,
really?
we had to bring in somebody really tight to hold it down for him. We brought in Ricky Irvins, the fitness guru. Now, Donna Hopkins, been here all these years, and she always tells me she got sources. When are they going to be right?
You know they always
Donna?
right.
Well, everybody's concerned about these Washington Redskins. They're saying, hey, these guys are in trouble. It's only been one game. No, they did not look good. But, Donna, give me your assessment. Is it time to worry? Is it time to panic? What's going on?
Well, you think about it, you just said one game, but the thing about it is they look like this in preseason, and it's spilled over into the regular season. So I think it's time to be concerned because they cannot pass block. They're having trouble pass blocking and run blocking. And if they don't get that running game going, they're going to be in trouble. And then you let go Pierre Croissant. You cannot afford to let go of a receiver of his caliber because guess what, Tony? They had 4 drops in the game, 3 turnovers, and they were in the red zone twice. And guess what? Did they get into the end zone? No.
But, Ricky, don't you think that was an assessment that they thought those other young receivers who did have good years or decent years could fill that gap? You played offense, you were on Super Bowl team, and you know how people change in. Alvin Garrett came on our Super Bowl team when Art Monk got hurt, and he was almost a star of the game.
But when you have a system, they believe it's a system, you can just plug anybody in there and you can make it happen. And that's not the case. You need dynamic receivers.
And you don't think they have those. What about these young
They haven't
receivers?
proven that yet. And again, we don't see that during training camp.
Yeah.
There are an awful lot of people that are saying that Josh Doctson is a very special receiver, one of the more gifted ones in recent years. There's a reason why they took him when they didn't need him. But, you know, this whole thing of meritocracy where you have to earn your place on the field and earn your playing time.
Mike,
I
can
think
you
it's
put that in
ridiculous.
layman terms for our
In
fans?
other words, I think what Jay Gruden is saying, you really have to earn your way on the field. But when the whole season is predicated on winning the first 2 games, otherwise you're in trouble, you're throwing away the first 2 games if you don't get Doxson out there for more than 18 plays.
Now, if you'll notice, Mike Baker comes back this year with big words and glasses, so forgive him.
He knows not what he say.
What you're saying, I do not agree.
Yeah.
I think the coach is doing the right thing, and I think Rick will be with me. As a player, if you do not work hard enough or you do not show the consistency, don't tell me what you can do. We're not paying for potential. We're paying for action.
Well, let me ask you, did it have something to do with injuries? Because he has
No,
been
it
injured?
hasn't. He hasn't shown.
Well, I mean, I know he's been hurt before, and he had, I don't know if he had surgery the first year, then the second year.
Yeah, with the knee.
He re-injured something, I guess it's Achilles. Then
Right.
this year in training camp, I didn't see anything during
It was a
training
hamstring,
camp.
I guess.
But it's
He's
not just
always
the injuries.
hampered.
All right.
It's every day in practice.
What
You
ab-
have to show what you can do. Now let's don't waste
But
much
what
more
about
time
can
on
he
that.
show that?
Well, no,
with
but the thing about it is he's been struggling in practice also. And the thing about it is it's
Okay.
not Gruden punishing him. He's
Okay.
got to be able to practice and show that he needs to
Consistently.
get out
But
there.
Jordan Reed, they said the same thing about him, that he was slow to come along. He was injured
Yeah,
all the
but
time.
he
wasn't that
came
slow.
along. He wasn't that slow.
And then all of a sudden he blew
Well,
up. He was great.
Mike, we got a 6-minute segment. We can't waste that on that. We got to talk about now. Do you not see improvement in the defense?
I do.
Yeah.
I think it's an amazing
Yeah,
improvement.
yeah.
I mean, come
I
on.
don't know about amazing,
you got
but
Jonathan
they're-
Allen in the first
yeah.
round. Who in the world thought we were going to get that?
Yeah, that's true.
I think
Ryan
they're doing a lot
Anderson.
better.
Yeah.
You went
Yeah,
out,
run stop.
and signed some guys that are really big contributors. You got Zach Brown. He's a killer.
Yeah, I like him. I really do. But now, Ricky and I have a disagreement. He thinks that the defensive backs are doing well. I think I see improvement.
I'm with you on that, Tony, because I think that Breland, I saw him in training camp, and he had struggled a little bit in training camp. But when that first game of the season with him and Josh Norman, they played. I mean, they had some balls that they should have caught that was right in their hands. But the coverage part, that's an area that was strong in that first game.
Let's segue into
but
there.
didn't y'all see what happened with number 13? Did he not get open and score a touchdown?
Well, that's going to happen every now and then. It's just
Well,
like
Ricky never was on the field
it's just like,
forever.
okay, Ricky,
Yeah,
it's
man.
just like getting a sack. I had a lot of them when I played, but if you think about it and you put it in correlation with the game, we may have had 60 plays and I had one
You know
sack
what?
and I was doing good. So when you look at that one play, but let's segue with this. Special teams, they got Breland back there receiving. Aren't you a little bit afraid of that?
Why would you do that?
I don't know.
Because they don't have, because they
You're
don't have
almost
the depth.
desperate.
Well, they've
You
never
want something- you
addressed
wanna make
that
something
issue.
happen.
They've never addressed that issue, have they? I mean, every year it's somebody who's on the squad is returning
But
kickoffs
Breland
and
might have came
punts.
to them and said, hey, let me do this.
Well,
Yeah,
no,
but,
they actually did, because in training camp they were trying to find people back there to do that job.
Why not
and
draft
they
somebody
don't, but
for
they
that?
don't have the depth. They tried to bring some of the younger guys that they normally look at the receivers and the running backs to do that. They don't have the talent back there to do that.
When you lose Deshaun Jackson, you lose that element too.
Yeah.
Can I ask you about the running game?
We're going to have to
Come
do
on,
it
you got a
quickly,
running
Greg.
back here.
I tried to get away
What's
from
wrong
that.
with the running
You
game?
can't
Come
get away from
on.
it.
Talk
You
to-
have to get to that.
Huh?
You have to get to the running
What's
game.
wrong with the running game?
To me, I think it's the line. We can't do anything if
Yeah.
we don't have the line. You got the same running back as last year. He didn't change anything. He's just trying to, find ways to get up in there. They just have to do a better job of blocking.
Tight ends, I think the tight ends and the running backs, that's where some breaks down is on the line right there. But Chris Thompson, he's the better blocker, but he's not going to be in there all the time. So those two positions have to do better in the blocking scheme.
So if you look at it, in a 5-minute period, we have talked about we need a better running game. The defensive backs a little bit better. The linemen, the defensive linemen, good. Offensive linemen, we didn't mention them, but they're having a little problem right now. And Cousins is a big player, big-time player. We'll be back in a minute because they're going against a Ram team that the coach knows everything about this
Everything.
team. We'll be back.
Yeah, I just saved a whole lot of money by switching to Geico.
We should take a closer look at Geico.
You know, Geico insures way more than cars, boats, motorcycles, even RVs.
Geico insures RVs? What's an RV?
The thing we've been stuck on for 5 years?
Wait, I'm not a real moose?
We've been over this, Jeff.
We're stickers.
I'm not a real moose.
Give him some space.
Deep breaths, Jeff.
What's a sticker? Take a closer look at Geico. Great savings and a whole lot more.
Welcome back, and we're doing something different this year on the show. We used to talk about the Redskins and what they did and everything, and that's old history now. We're talking about who are they going against this week. We're talking about the Rams guys. The Rams have a lot of people in Sean McVay that knows this whole team inside and out. Got Wade Phillips, who's been in the league a long, long time. And, Mike, it's not time to study now. You need to get involved. Tell me what – you said there's some other players they got there.
Well, not only that, you know what's a little scary when you look at this?
Wait a minute, Mike. Look how stupid.
I know.
He's got his glasses on, using big words.
No,
Professor,
serious.
come on, Professor.
You know what's really scary about this game? When you look at their depth chart, you only had one new player on defense. All these guys have 3 and 4 years experience on defense. They have a very good defense. They have a 6th-round pick out of Tulane, Tanzel Smart. He's playing defensive tackle. He's been very impressive because he can rush the passer. But you have nobody else.
Well, their defense
that's a
always
rookie.
been good.
Everybody else is an
Let's not
experienced
forget,
player.
their defense got good because of RG3 coming here. They drafted a lot
So
of
they've been
players
good
first
for a
round.
couple
They
of
got a
years.
lot of first-round draft choices out there. That defense has always been very good. They just did not have the offense.
good
Now they got
corners.
the quarterback.
Well,
and
we
they got
hope
a
you think they
head
got the
coach.
quarterback.
Yeah, but talk to me. You don't think he's the one?
Jeff or Guff or whatever his name?
Golf.
Yeah.
You know, he one game. Let's see what he's gonna do. You know, from here on out.
We didn't think Wentz was the man either the last game.
But
so.
you saw what happened though. I mean, last year everybody thought Wentz was the man, and after those first 4 games, he kind of went down.
But I'm looking at the defense from the Rams because Wade Phillips,
Yeah,
this is
that's
a guy
scary.
that can, because you've got 2 good pass rushers with the Rams. Their defensive front is good. Then they've got 2 good corners. So you think about that first game for the Redskins, under distress as far as that offensive line that cannot pass block or run block, and you got a defense that's going to be coming at you, pressuring you. They're going to have to be able to get that ball out.
Kirk is
quickly.
not mobile.
No. He did run a little bit in the
He's not
first
mobile.
game.
He's not he's not Wentz. You saw what Wentz did. We couldn't even tackle Wentz.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Wentz is young and kind of big.
It doesn't
but
matter.
Let's go
Kirk's
back and
young,
say
too.
the one thing that may be the biggest part of this is not how good they are, but both running games because they
got
have
a beast
running
over
game.
there.
They got a beast over there, and we can't get our guy 2 or 3 yards.
He had an off year last year. But,
He was hurt a little bit.
But they actually, and also Goff was sacked a lot.
Yeah.
But if you saw the game last Sunday, Goff got protection. They brought in this guy from Cincy. I mean, he is 34 years old, but they brought in Andrew Whitworth, who's a really good left tackle. And that also helped the running game. I mean, Todd Gurley had an off year last year, but he's a beast.
But
What
you
did- what
can't
did he have
call
last
a
week?
hurt year off
No.
here. Gurley, his first year, as you know, he was
Yeah.
great. And he was coming off an injury he had in college, and he played great. Last year, I think the whole thing was an aberration because they just couldn't get things done. They had a lot of talent, but they couldn't get it done, and then they tried to work in different people. This year, this team is poised for the simple reason they got a young coordinator, a young gun. He's like Alexander the Great. Remember Alexander the Great, one of the greatest warriors ever, but he's only 30 years old. They got a guy like that back there calling the plays, and he know this team. That's my
But look,
concern.
to me, everybody, we all professionals. Man on man, we just got to just make our mind up saying, hey, we're going to get this done. The best man wins because
There you
everybody
go.
can play this game. I don't care who you are.
You're
a professional for one reason, because you know how to play at this high level.
Let's look at the matchups, though, okay? Quarterback to quarterback, who wins that?
I think Kurt wins that one.
I do, too.
Experience.
Yeah.
Running back to running back.
I think the
win that
Rams
one.
win that one.
They win that one.
Offensive line to offensive line.
I
It's
give
a
Toss-up.
our offensive
Yeah.
line.
I think it's a toss-up.
But it's I'm telling you, man, who has that will?
Yeah.
Because everybody knows how to block.
Okay.
So if you know how to do that, go out there and do it on a consistent basis.
But I'm looking at the 2 coaches. Who's going, the student against the teacher, and who's going to be able to kind of like make, like you said, they each know each other.
Calling great
4
plays.
on 1.
Yeah.
But what you have to realize, though, who was the head coach here? Was it
Yeah.
McVay?
Yeah. Well,
He was calling the plays.
He was
But
calling the
what
plays.
was he the head
And you know he
coach?
got the defensive
And the
guru.
head coach, until my knowledge, usually know more about his assistants.
Yeah.
So therefore, we keep talking about what Sean McVay know. Don't worry.
Group does know.
This is a game
Group
of 4
knows
on
No, it's
1.
almost like a
This is
deck of
4 on
cards.
See, he got Phillips to help him out, though. See, Phillips been a head coach for a while, too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
So he
he's
got-
been a head coach,
It-
and he didn't stay there, so he did something wrong as well.
It's not just Sean McVay. You've got Matt LaFleur over there.
Yep.
Matt LaFleur, former Redskin. You have Joe Barry, our defensive coordinator with the linebackers. You have Eric Yarber.
So you know
your
they
former
got
player.
this-
You know the,
over doing wide receivers.
operative word in
4
your
on
whole
1.
dissertation there? Former.
Former.
They're not here for a reason.
But
Because they might want to go over there for a
4
different
on
reason.
1.
Okay.
It wins.
Well, I tell you what. if you take a look at this game, I look at it as they're going to have to get out early.
Yeah.
And I think it's paramount that they run the ball.
Yeah.
Because that keeps their offense off, and that offensive line is really going to have to hold that defense. Those are the things I think is most important.
Yeah.
Those slow
You can't
starts,
tee
like
on
you
Kirk.
said.
If you can't run the ball like you said,
Yep.
Kirk's in trouble.
Well, you talked about our corners are two of the best in the league.
I think so, too.
Yeah.
I like it.
You've got Sammy Watkins and Tavon Austin.
And Watkins is good. Now, he had an off year at Buffalo last year, but he's the man.
Yeah, that's a good matchup.
I want to watch that.
But you know what helps that? Pass rush. And if we can get the pass rush
And Greg
going.
said that. I said in training camp, I said, your coordinator is going to sit back there and just watch what he said. No, that won't happen. And you noticed that in that first game.
Greg, 'cause Greg
he is
was
going to bring the pressure.
And I like the way you could see last week, maybe they did not get there every time, but at the same time you saw
They were better.
that they will be better, and they may be a force in the middle of the season even.
Yeah, I think the real key to this game is going to be the kid they drafted, tight end Gerald Everett. I think because you're going to pretty much have a wash with our corners on their wide receivers. I think Everett's going to have a big game when he gets in the game. Another really scary thing, all their offensive players are the same as last year.
But it comes through execution. The Redskins just have to go out there and execute.
Well, you fans, if you think I'm cutting in, you know I have to pay bills here. I don't know why these guys wait till it's time to get out to get real intelligent, but we're going to talk to Michael. We can see can he take those
I'm
glasses
glad you
off.
said
We'll
intelligent.
be back in a moment.
I'll have the langoustine lobster ravioli.
For you, sir?
The original call was for langoustine ravioli. Langoustine is a tiny kind of lobster. Slight shellfish allergy rules that out. Plus, my wife ordered the langoustine. I will have chicken tenders and tater tots.
If you're a ref, you way over-explain things. It's what you do. If you want to save 15% or more on car insurance, you switch to Geico.
Sir, we don't have tater tots.
It's what you do.
I will have nachos.
And now, the Panic Room with Tony McGee and Ricky Irvins. Is it Scream or Dream?
Here at Tony McGee's Pro Football Plus, we try to be innovative. We try to do new things each and every year. This year, after one game, we're talking about the Panic Room. And when we talk about the Panic Room, we're talking about, is it the fans? Is it the players? Is it people like us, Ricky Irvins and myself, that are really worried about this team? Ricky, now, prior to us beginning the show, you was out here, oh, this team is all right, no reason to panic. I said, we need to be concerned. Now, after you heard the schedule that they got, they're going into L.A. with a coach that really know everything about them, all facets of the team. Then they got the Raiders, who is a very good team, coming in at prime time, and then they go to Kansas City after that. Now, let's say we look a little bit in the future and they lose this next game. What are your thoughts?
Normally, I wouldn't say after the first game you push the button, but just you recalling everybody that we got to play. The Raiders coming in here with their quarterback and their offense, their defense. To me, it's a possible loss. You go to Kansas City, you can't hear in there, and they playing at a high level. That's another loss. You go to the bye weekend. So now we 0-4.
We can't lose that, can we?
What we gonna do? So now you got to push that button now because you saw what happened in preseason. Nothing's changed since preseason.
Well, that's why I'm surprised that individuals are panicking because we knew what we had before. And I think a lot of people are concerned because Kirk Cousins is making a lot of money, but it's not just Kirk Cousins. You take away 2,000-yard receivers, and you have a running game that haven't really thrived all the way through training camp into now. Then you have an offensive line that's having a little problem right now for some reason. You got a defensive line that has improved, but then you have a big injury that right away in training camp, and you change your personnel. And you have your defensive backs that seem to be really playing good, but at the same time, all facets are not playing well together. So rather than panic, I just think we need to be concerned.
Yeah, I think that once you took away those two receivers, you kind of handicapped this whole offense, this whole team. Because, like you said, you took away 2,000 yards of offense. How you going to replace that? You don't know what Pryor can do, really. I mean, you saw a little bit last year, but he's not with Deshaun Jackson. You take away Pierre, another 1,500 yards. Who else you going to Dotson can't stay healthy. So how you going to have these receivers produce the same amount of yardage?
I think the thought process was these receivers did play well last year, but what they have to realize is the reason they were playing well, you had 2,000-yard receivers that they were trying to double outside, inside. Those receivers were getting open because of that. Now those receivers are gone. They are number one receivers. They have to start playing like that. But the running game has to get better.
Yeah, but they have to have holes too. I mean, the guys are tough. Kelly's he's a great guy, but if you don't have any holes to run to, you can't produce.
Mm-hmm.
I think the line needs to be stronger. They got to be able to play together, and just be committed. You know, they got to go out there and just get the work done.
Defensive line, do you see an improvement there? I do.
Yeah.
But I was a defensive lineman, so you know I'm always looking for the good things with them.
Like I said,
you're talking about running backs need to see holes. We made holes. I mean, what you talking about,
with the
man?
addition of Jonathan Allen, Stonebridge guy from Loudoun County, man, I think he's helping that line big time. You got the linebacker from Alabama as well, Anderson.
Those linebackers.
And,
I like our linebackers.
I really enjoy watching these guys, and I'm watching them now. That defense is really playing strong, but I think the only thing that's hindering us right now is that secondary.
Why do you? I think the secondary. Breland to me has stepped up, and I know everyone's talking about what.
You can't be missing tackles, man.
Well, okay, he may have missed one or two. I didn't see him miss any. What lenses are you looking through? Are you at the same game I'm at?
Yeah, I mean, you know that. We in the same
you
video
just
room.
Panic. I can see
same
it
binoculars.
in your eyes, man, and I know.
But
you can't panic now, though.
See, I'm the type of guy where you can't be a professional when you're missing tackles.
Mm-hmm.
That's what my mindset is. And when I'm seeing that from the press box, and I'm seeing these guys just constantly missing tackles, we got a problem.
Well, we're not going to panic, but I got to ask you one thing. Man, why you wear that shirt like that? You want everybody to see how big your arms are or what?
Man, I'm out here training. You know I got a company, man, so I got to train these people, and then I had to hurry up and get here. I couldn't change my clothes, but
You train people every day? Who
every
are
day.
your clients?
I have a fitness company, Extreme Explosion, and I got clients, you know, like you, regular clients, kids, adults, whoever wants to, you know, lose weight, get in shape, or become that elite kid.
You made one mistake. You said like you, and then when they look at me, say, he ain't doing nothing.
Well, I'm saying people who want to lose weight, who want to, you know, better themselves or eat better.
Well, if all of you are looking at me and you're in the panic room, I don't look like this all the time. But how can they get in touch with you?
You can go to my website, which is extremeexplosion.net, spelled with an X, or just Google Ricky Irving.
Well, you heard it here first. Ricky is not panicking at the same time he's playing. In other words, he's getting people in shape. Yes, look at me now. And in 6 months, if I do not look better, blame him. We'll all be in the panic room. We're not panicking. We're concerned. We'll be back in a moment.
Well, it's a Sports Bar Challenge. And last week, everybody liked the Cowboys over the Giants, except for Aaron from Fairfax Outback, who picked the Giants. And this week, we have the Falcons hosting the Packers. And Crystal City Restaurant likes the Falcons. Crystal City Sports Pub likes the Falcons. Fairfax Hard Times likes the Packers. Harry's Ale House likes the Packers. Fairfax Outback likes the Packers. And Greavy's likes the Falcons. Look for Atlanta to get a win at home.
It takes hard work, grit, and determination to become a professional football player like Luke Kuechly. But it only takes 15 minutes to see how much you could save on car insurance with Geico.
we've talked about it. One thing we know, if the Washington Redskins do not run the ball well and they do not stop the run, they're in trouble this weekend. So let's talk about a winner that we already know about, the Nats. They're in. I mean, how do you win your division by 20 games? That's the way it is when I play pool with you.
Or more.
20 games or more.
I think the big story is Dusty Baker.
Yeah.
I think you remember 3 years ago, he was not their first choice. I said Dusty Baker, and I was right. He is not under contract for next year. And so everybody's thinking, well, why not give him a contract? I have this distinct feeling that Dusty is the one deciding this. I think Dusty can come back if he wants. I think he's probably most likely just kind of mulling things over to decide whether he wants to come back next year. I think he's done an amazing job of platooning players, of bringing these young players up from the minors, knowing where to play them, knowing where to line them up. I mean, I think, you know what? I think.
So where do you think he want to go?
I think he's the manager of the year.
I don't think that he want to go. They just haven't offered a contract, right?
I think there's something going on there. I think it's Dusty. I think making that decision.
Well, Harper, you said Dusty is manager. How about Harper?
Well, that scares me, Donna, because the only time they're going to get to practice games, there will be no minor league play, is basically getting up to the plate when you've come back.
Yeah, and Tony talked about Bryce Harper. He's been hurt a lot this season, and he's still hurt. And I don't think that.
But he still got numbers.
No, he still have numbers, but I think that when you're gone that long, I don't think that he's going to be that MVP. And I'm not even for sure if he's going to be able to come back for the playoffs.
Well, they were talking about it at the halfway mark that he was MVP candidate. So
would you tell us what a bone bruise is? Everybody's asking me.
That's
what
when
is
you get an injury right close to your bone, and I tell you, it's a little bit of the bone, a little bit of the soft tissue, but that bone aspect of it make it even worse because it's painful, hard to get, hard to really get rid of. You get them all. We can get them all the time.
Why does it take so long to come back from that?
Well, that's because it's an injury. It takes a long to come back from any injury, but sometimes you can come back and pretend to be back on some of them you can't.
Okay.
Ricky, last but not least, the Orioles picked a bad time to have lose a lot of games because a few weeks ago they were in contention. You think they can make it?
Man, I don't even watch baseball, but judging what league they in, like with the Yankees and all that.
Well, let's take that.
Be tough.
I'm gonna put that on the chart. Ricky doesn't. So we can't bring him back anytime soon.
And he was a baseball player.
And he told us he's a baseball player. I'm leading him into it.
I love playing it, but watching it, man, it's just.
Not into the playoffs.
There you go. You're exactly right.
Very quickly, we have a few seconds. Who wins the game Sunday? Rams or Redskins?
I'm sorry, but I think they lose. The Skins lose.
Ricky?
Yeah, I'm with Mike.
No, I'm not with neither one of them. They're going to pull it out.
Run the ball and they'll win. Now for the picks this week. As you know, last year, Gary won by default. That's why he's not here. And at the same time, I haven't won in a while. But I'm a cinch. Put your money on me this year. We got Green Bay, Atlanta. Everybody take Green Bay except for Gary. Now as we go down the rest of the game, Minnesota at Pittsburgh, we all got Pittsburgh. New England at New Orleans, we all feel like New England. Philadelphia, KC will win going away. And Chicago at Tampa Bay. I played for Chicago, but I can't tell a lie. Now, let me give you your picks right now. I gave you your picks, but at the same time, let me give you my tip. As you heard earlier in the show, Rick and I were talking about don't panic. Don't panic. These guys need one win, and they'll be all right. Now, next week when we come back, hopefully they'll have that win. So I will not say goodbye. I'll say in a minute.